Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is Dr. Harry Wilson, Professor Emeritus of Political Science at Roanoke College. Dr. Wilson, thank you so much for joining me again.
Happy to be here with you.
We last spoke in May, and during that time, there was a totally different presidential race. Then it was between Biden and Trump. Now it's between Harris and Trump. And according to a new Roanoke College poll, the first one taken since the vice president entered the race, she is up 3 points against Donald Trump. So what are some of your takeaways from this poll?
I think the big takeaway there, obviously, is that Harris is up by 3, which is still within the margin of error. Margin of error on this is 4.5%. So we're still within the margin of error as we were in May when we had it as a tie. So the pollster in me is supposed to say, well, those are really the same. I'm not sure they are exactly the same, but what I am sure of is that we're still really within the margin of error that we were back then and we are now. And this is not like where we were in Virginia 4 years ago, where all the polls, including ours, had Biden up double digits, and he ended up carrying the state by 10. So this is not where we are today.
What happened? Because that was just 4 years ago. And as you said, Biden won Virginia by 10 points in 2020. Now we do know it's a new race. And when we spoke in May, Biden and Trump were tied. But what happened where the Democrat now is only up 3 points, Biden won by 10?
I think what's happened there really is independence, moving from Biden to Trump. Because, what we saw in the exit poll in 2020, not surprisingly, was upwards of 90% of Democrats voted for Biden and upwards of 90% of Republicans voted for Trump. In our May poll, the Roanoke College poll, we saw the same thing. And we saw that in the poll we just released this morning, same thing. Upwards of 90% of Democrats voting for Kamala Harris, upwards of 90% of Republicans voting for Donald Trump. And because we weighted this poll to the 2020 exit poll, then those numbers are really essentially the same as what we saw 4 years ago. So the obvious answer, the difference has to be coming from those people who call themselves independent, and that they've moved from the Democrats in 2020. Some of them have moved from the Democrats in 2020 over to Republicans in 2024.
So essentially, because this poll is still within the margin of error, do you think Virginia is still in play come November?
I suspect that it is, but I would also, it would be disingenuous for me to suggest that this is now the focus of either campaign, because all the other battleground states, or what people conceive of as the battleground states in 2024, those have also all tightened. So if the Trump campaign was complacent about, say, Georgia or even Nevada or Arizona a month ago, surely they're not complacent about those states today. So if they were thinking about putting resources into Virginia a month ago, frankly, I have no insight into either campaign, but I would assume the answer for the Trump campaign is going to be, nah, we need to shore things up elsewhere where our prospects are probably even better. But that does not rule out the possibility that Trump could still win Virginia in November, because I do think that's clearly possible, and not out of the realm of possibility. If you'd asked me that 4 years ago, if I was being honest, if with a couple of months to go in a fairly steady race you're down double digits, my answer would be you probably are not going to win this state. But in 2024, it's definitely a possibility.